Ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you 11 things people learn too late in life. Some of us think we got time, we think we got it figured out, but life is a master teacher, and often its most important lessons come when we least expect it. So if you're ready, lean in, listen up, and take notes, because this might just save you a whole lot of regret down the line. You can make more money, but you can't make more time. Every second that ticks by is a moment you won't get back. We waste so much of it thinking we got plenty. But let me tell you, there comes a day when you realize time is your most precious gift. Don't wait till it's too late to start valuing it. Spend it wisely on the people you love, on your dreams, and on what matters most. Too many of us live waiting for a moment to feel happy. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I get that job, when I buy that house, when I find that perfect person. But if you're always waiting for something to make you happy, you're never going to be happy. Happiness is a mindset. It's a decision you make every morning when you get up. It's about finding joy in the small moments, in the simple things. It's the people who learn from their failures that find success. Some of us are so afraid to fail that we never take a step forward. But listen, failure is just a stepping stone. It's where the real lessons are learned. So when you fall, don't stay down, get back up, dust yourself off. And remember, the only time you truly fail is when you decide not to get back up. At the end of your life, you won't be thinking about your bank balance or your job title. You'll be thinking about the people you loved and the people who loved you. Yet, we often take them for granted. We think they'll always be there. But life is unpredictable. Cherish your loved ones. Make time for them. Tell them you love them. Because when it's all said and done, that's what really matters. We push ourselves to the limit chasing success, and we neglect our bodies. We think, I'll take care of myself later, but if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. You can't enjoy the fruits of your labor if you're too sick to do so. Eat right, exercise, get enough sleep, take care of your body, because it's the only place you have to live. We chase money like it's the answer to all our problems. But let me tell you something, money can buy you comfort, but it can't buy you peace. It can buy you a nice house, but it can't buy you a home. Use money as a tool to create the life you want, but don't let it control you. Don't let it be the reason you wake up in the morning. Find a purpose beyond the paycheck. So many of us are living lives based on what others expect from us. Your parents, your friends, society, they all have their own ideas of what success looks like. But you've got to live your own life. You've got to follow your own dreams. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. And you're the one who has to live it. Don't wake up one day realizing you climbed a ladder leaning against the wrong wall. Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. The way you think about yourself and your circumstances defines your life. If you constantly focus on what you lack, you'll always feel like something's missing. But if you focus on what you have, on what you can do, you'll see opportunities everywhere. Change your mindset and you'll change your life. Saying yes to everything and everyone is a quick path to exhaustion and resentment. You can't be everything to everyone. You've got to protect your time and energy. It's okay to say no to things that don't align with your goals, your values, or your well-being. Because every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something that is. Stop waiting for someone to make you happy. Stop blaming others for your unhappiness. It's nobody else's job to make you happy. It's yours. The moment you take responsibility for your own joy, that's when you start living. That's when you take your power back. When you're gone, people won't remember the car you drove or the house you lived in. They'll remember how you made them feel. They'll remember the moments you shared, the impact you had on their lives. Focus on building a legacy. Live in a way that inspires others. Leave a mark that lasts long after you're gone. So there it is. 11 things people often learn too late, but you have the gift of hearing them now. Don't wait until life has to teach you these lessons the hard way. Learn them now, live them now, and make the most out of the time you've been given. Because as Denzel Washington once said, you never know how much time you have, but you can decide how you use it. Time is the most valuable currency we have, yet it's often the first thing we squander. We live as though we have an endless supply of it, spending hours, days, and even years on things that don't truly matter. It's easy to get caught up in the daily grind thinking I'll have time for that later or I can do this tomorrow, but the truth is, time is slipping away every second and tomorrow isn't promised. We understand the value of money and we track every dollar, making sure we get a good return on our investments. Yet when it comes to time, we give it away freely, almost carelessly, as if we can get it back whenever we want. Think about this for a moment. You can lose money, and with the right mindset and hard work, you can earn it back. But when you lose time, it's gone forever. Every second you spend scrolling on your phone, every hour you waste on meaningless tasks, every day you pass by waiting for the right time to chase your dreams, it's all time you can never reclaim. Imagine if we treated our time like our money with the same level of care and attention. If you truly realize that each moment you have is precious and fleeting, you'd probably live differently. You'd spend more time with your loved ones, pursuing your passions and doing things that light your soul on fire. You'd say no to the distractions that don't serve you and yes to the opportunities that align with your purpose. Often we fall into the trap of believing we have all the time in the world. We say things like, I'll spend more time with my family next year, or I'll start working on my dream project once things settle down. But the reality is, time is constantly moving forward, and it waits for no one. It's like sand slipping through your fingers. You can't grasp it, and once it's gone, it's gone. It's gone for good. When we're young, it feels like we have an abundance of time. But as we grow older, we start to realize just how finite our time is. We start to see people we know pass away, and we begin to understand the weight of time and its fleeting nature. It's often in those moments of loss or realization that we finally understand the importance of time, but by then we've already lost so much of it. Think about how many people you know who spend their lives waiting. They wait for the right job, the right partner, the right moment to start living the life they want. They say, I'll be happy when I achieve this, or I'll feel fulfilled when I get there. But what they don't realize is that time is ticking away while they're waiting. The perfect moment they're waiting for may never come. The only time you truly have is now. Every day you wake up is an opportunity to use your time wisely. You don't have to wait for the perfect conditions. You just have to start with what you have and where you are. The problem is that many of us live our lives on autopilot, going through the motions without being truly present. We're physically there, but mentally checked out, constantly thinking about the future or dwelling on the past. We're not truly living in the moment, and as a result, we miss out on so many precious experiences. The secret to valuing time is learning to be fully present. It's about appreciating the little moments that make life beautiful, the laughter of your children, the warmth of a hug from a loved one, the feeling of the sun on your face on a bright day. These are the moments that matter, and they're fleeting. They're here one moment and gone the next, and if you're not paying attention, you'll miss them. The irony is that the more you value time, the richer your life becomes. It's not about how much time you have, it's about what you do with the time you're given. Some people live long lives without ever truly living, while others live short lives that are full of passion, love, and purpose. The difference lies in how they choose to spend their time. When you start to see time as your most valuable currency, you become more intentional with it. You stop wasting it on things that don't matter. You start prioritizing the people and activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. You make time for the things that light you up and let go of the things that drain you. You realize that every moment you have is a gift, and you start treating it as such. You stop waiting for tomorrow to do what you can do today because you understand that time is precious and it's the one thing you can never get back. Happiness is one of the most misunderstood concepts in life. Many of us grow up believing that happiness is something we achieve once we reach a certain milestone. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I get that promotion, or I'll be happy when I find the right partner. We attach our sense of fulfillment to future events as if happiness is a destination we're all racing toward. This mindset creates a dangerous cycle where we constantly chase external things, hoping they will fill a void inside us. But the truth is, happiness isn't found in some distant moment or achievement. It's a choice we make every single day, regardless of our circumstances. When we make happiness conditional on external factors, we give away our power. We place our joy in the hands of situations we can't control. For example, we might think I'll be happy when I have more money, but even when we earn more, it's never enough. The new car, the bigger house, the next vacation, they might bring temporary pleasure, but it fades quickly. We find ourselves on a treadmill, always running toward the next thing, hoping it will be the one that finally makes us feel complete. What we fail to realize is that the external world will always change, and if our happiness is tied to it, our joy will be as fleeting as the next trend. This is why happiness is better understood as a state of mind, not a state of affairs. It's an internal decision to find joy and contentment in the present moment, no matter what's happening around you. It's about waking up each day and deciding to look for the good, even when things are tough. You might be going through challenges at work, in your relationships, or with your health, but choosing happiness means finding reasons to smile and be grateful despite the difficulties. It's the simple things like a warm cup of coffee in the morning, a laugh shared with a friend, or the beauty of a sunset that can bring immense joy if we allow ourselves to appreciate them. One of the biggest obstacles to this mindset is comparison. In today's world, with social media constantly showing us a curated highlight reel of other people's lives, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking everyone else has it better. We see friends getting married, traveling the world, or buying a new house, and we start to question our own lives. We think if only I had what they have, then I'd be happy, but this is a losing game because there will always be someone who seems to have more. The truth is, happiness doesn't come from having what others have, it comes from appreciating what you already have. Another key factor is the myth of someday. Many of us live with the mindset that someday we will be happy. We push off our joy to the future, waiting for that magical time when everything will be perfect. But that perfect moment doesn't exist. Life is messy, unpredictable, and full of ups and downs. If we keep waiting for a flawless time to be happy, we'll spend our entire lives waiting. The only moment we truly have is right now. Happiness isn't something that happens to us. It's a choice we make with every breath we take. Moreover, happiness doesn't mean everything in your life is perfect. It doesn't mean you don't experience sadness, anger, or frustration. It means you choose not to let those emotions dominate your life. It's about finding balance and learning to navigate the highs and lows with grace. When you realize that happiness is an inside job, you stop searching for it in the world around you. Instead, you start cultivating it from within. You practice gratitude, mindfulness, and self-compassion. You focus on the things that bring you joy and let go of the things that bring you down. You take responsibility for your own happiness instead of expecting someone else to provide it for you. One powerful tool in choosing happiness is gratitude. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, your perspective shifts. You start to notice the small blessings in your life, things you might have taken for granted before. Gratitude helps you see the beauty in the mundane. It reminds you that no matter what challenges you face, there are always things to be thankful for. It's a simple practice, but a transformative one. By regularly counting your blessings, you train your mind to look for the good in every situation, making it easier to choose happiness even on tough days. Another important aspect is living in the present moment. We spend so much time either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future that we miss what's happening right now. The present moment is where life happens. It's the only time you can truly experience joy. When you focus on the here and now, you're not weighed down by regrets or anxieties. You're fully immersed in the experience of living, which is the essence of happiness. It's about savoring each moment, whether it's a big celebration or a quiet evening at home. In the end, choosing happiness is about mindset. It's about deciding to see the good even when things aren't perfect. It's about finding joy in the journey rather than waiting for the destination. It's about realizing that happiness isn't something you find, it's something you find, it's something you create. And the beauty of it is that it's entirely within your control. You have the power to choose happiness every single day, no matter what life throws your way. Failure is often seen as the end of the road, a sign that we weren't good enough or that we've made a grave mistake. It's a feeling that many of us try to avoid at all costs. We fear failure so much that it can paralyze us, keeping us from even attempting to achieve our goals. We build it up in our minds as this terrifying monster that will humiliate us and crush our dreams. But the truth is, failure is not the end, it's a beginning, a stepping stone to success. It's a critical part of the journey that teaches us lessons we couldn't learn any other way. When you look at some of the most successful people in history, their paths are filled with failures. Thomas Edison, for example, famously failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Each failure was a lesson, a step closer to the solution. He didn't see those attempts as wasted time, he saw them as learning experiences. He once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This mindset is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. Successful people understand that failure is a necessary part of growth. They embrace it, learn from it, and use it to fuel their determination to try again. The fear of failure often stems from our perception of it. We're taught from a young age to avoid mistakes, to aim for perfection, and to play it safe. This conditioning makes us see failure as a negative outcome, something to be ashamed of. But in reality, failure is one of the best teachers we will ever have. It shows us what doesn't work, where we need to improve, and what we need to change. Without failure, there is no growth. If you never fail, it means you're not pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. You're not taking risks, and without risk, there's no reward. The biggest regrets in life often come not from the things we tried and failed at, but from the things we never tried at all. When you fail, it can feel like the world is crashing down. You might feel embarrassed, defeated, and discouraged. But in these moments, it's important to remember that failure is not final. It's a part of the process. It's an indication that you're trying, that you're putting yourself out there. Each time you fail, you're one step closer to figuring out what works. It's a chance to reassess, to pivot, and to try a different approach. Failure is feedback. It's a signal that something needs to change, but it's not a signal to stop. Instead of fearing failure, we need to start seeing it as an opportunity for growth. One of the biggest benefits of failure is the resilience it builds. Every time you fail and get back up, you strengthen your ability to handle adversity. You develop a toughness that can't be learned any other way. This resilience is crucial because success isn't a straight line. It's a series of ups and downs, twists and turns. If you crumble at the first sign of failure, you'll never make it to the finish line. But if you learn to embrace failure, to see it as a part of the journey, you'll develop the strength to keep going no matter how many times you fall. Another important lesson from failure is the clarity it brings. When you fail at something, it forces you to take a hard look at your actions, your choices, and your approach. It makes you analyze what went wrong and why. This introspection is crucial for growth. It helps you identify your mistakes so you don't repeat them. It helps you understand what doesn't work so you can try something different. Without failure, you might continue down a path that isn't right for you. But failure forces you to reassess, to reevaluate, and to make necessary changes. Failure is also a test of passion. When you truly care about something, failure doesn't deter you, it motivates you to try harder. It's a test of how badly you want something. If you give up after one failure, it might mean that your heart wasn't really in it. But if you keep going, if you keep pushing through the setbacks, it's a sign that you're truly passionate about your goal. This perseverance is what leads to success. It's the willingness to keep going even when things get tough that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who give up. In the end, failure is not something to be feared, it's something to be embraced. It's a natural and necessary part of the process of achieving anything worthwhile. It's the rough edges that shape us, the challenges that refine us. It's through failure that we learn the most valuable lessons, develop resilience, and gain the clarity we need to succeed. When we stop fearing failure and start seeing it as an opportunity for growth, we unlock our true potential. We start to realize that every failure is just one step closer to success. Relationships are often overlooked in our pursuit of success and personal goals, yet they are among the most valuable assets we can have in life. We live in a world that glorifies individual achievement and self-reliance, where people often say, "I don't need anyone," or "I can do this on my own." However, no matter how independent or self-sufficient we think we are, the truth is our lives are deeply interconnected with the people around us. From our families and friends to our colleagues and mentors, the quality of our relationships has a significant impact on our overall well-being and happiness. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that success and fulfillment comes solely from professional achievements and material wealth. We strive for bigger salaries, promotions, and accolades, thinking these will bring us lasting happiness. But when we reflect on our most meaningful moments in life, they almost always involve people celebrating with loved ones, sharing laughter with friends, or receiving support during tough times. At the end of the day, it's the connections we have with others that bring the most joy and satisfaction. No amount of money or success can replace the comfort of a close relationship or the sense of belonging that comes from being part of a community. In our fast-paced, achievement-oriented culture, it's easy to take our relationships for granted. We might get so wrapped up in our careers or personal projects that we neglect the people who matter most to us. We tell ourselves we'll have time to catch up with friends or spend quality time with family later, once we've accomplished our goals. But life is unpredictable, and the opportunities to nurture these relationships can slip away faster than we realize. It's only when we experience loss or face challenges that we truly understand how valuable our relationships are. In moments of crisis, it's not our job titles or possessions that bring us comfort, it's the people who stand by our side. Strong relationships require effort, time, and vulnerability. They don't just happen, they're built through shared experiences, open communication, and genuine care. One of the most important aspects of maintaining healthy relationships is the ability to be present. In today's digital age, it's easy to be distracted, to be physically there, but mentally elsewhere. We might be checking our phones while having a conversation or thinking about work while spending time with family. But being present means giving someone your full attention, listening without interrupting, and showing that you value their time and presence. It's about making the other person feel seen, heard, and appreciated. Trust is another cornerstone of strong relationships. It takes time to build and can be easily broken. Trust isn't just about keeping secrets, it's about reliability, consistency, and integrity. It's about showing up for people when you say you will, following through on your promises, and being honest even when it's difficult. When trust is strong, it creates a safe space where people can be themselves without fear of judgment. It allows for open and honest communication, which is essential for resolving conflicts and deepening the connection. Without trust, relationships become fragile and superficial, unable to withstand the challenges that life inevitably brings. Empathy is also crucial in maintaining meaningful connections. It's the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to understand their feelings and perspectives. Empathy goes beyond just hearing someone's words. It's about feeling their emotions and responding with kindness and compassion. When you practice empathy, you create a deeper bond with others because they feel understood and valued. It helps in resolving misunderstandings and conflicts because instead of focusing on being right, you focus on understanding the other person's point of view. It builds a bridge between people, allowing for greater connection and mutual respect. The importance of relationships is also evident in the concept of social support. Having a strong support system can significantly impact our mental and physical health. Studies have shown that people with strong social connections tend to live longer, have lower stress levels, and recover more quickly from illness. The presence of close relationships provides a buffer against life's challenges. When we face difficulties, whether it's job loss, health issues, or personal setbacks, having a network of people who care about us can make all the difference. They offer emotional support, practical help, and a sense of belonging, reminding us that we're not alone in our struggles. Moreover, relationships are a source of learning and growth. Every interaction we have with others teaches us something new about ourselves and the world. Through relationships, we learn about patience, compromise, forgiveness, and the power of love and kindness. They challenge us to be better, to think beyond our own needs, and to practice selflessness. The people in our lives act as mirrors, reflecting our strengths and weaknesses, helping us to grow in ways we couldn't achieve on our own. We might learn resilience from a friend who has overcome great adversity, or we might learn to be more compassionate by witnessing the kindness of a loved one. Finally, the legacy we leave behind is often not measured by our personal achievements, but by the impact we've had on the people around us. When we're gone, people will remember how we made them feel, the kindness we showed, and the love we gave. Our relationships are a testament to the life we've lived and the values we've held. They are the true markers of a meaningful life. Investing in our relationships, making time for the people we care about, and nurturing those connections should be a priority because in the end, it's the love we share with others that gives our lives the deepest sense of purpose and fulfillment. We live in a world where the pressure to constantly keep up with others often takes center stage. Social media, television, and even everyday conversations create a narrative that success, happiness, and fulfillment are all defined by external standards. We see people buying the latest cars, moving into extravagant homes, or traveling to exotic places, and it can make us feel as though we are falling short or missing something. We get caught in the comparison trap, looking at other people's lives and measuring our own worth based on their achievements. However, the truth is that our worth is not defined by others' successes, nor is our happiness reliant on constantly competing with those around us. The sooner we realize that the opinions and expectations of others should not dictate our own path, the sooner we can begin to live authentically and true to ourselves. From a young age, we are often conditioned to seek approval and validation from the outside world, whether it's striving to meet academic expectations, conforming to social norms, or adhering to family pressures. We are taught to shape our identities around what others expect from us. We internalize these ideas, believing that their approval is the key to our own happiness. The problem with this is that we start to lose sight of who we really are and what truly matters to us. We end up living for others, not for ourselves, and in doing so, we forget that our lives are uniquely our own to shape. It's easy to get trapped in a cycle where we are constantly trying to live up to someone else's standards, and yet it leads to frustration and dissatisfaction. When we do this, we miss the opportunity to discover our true desires, passions, and potential. Living for others is exhausting because it forces us to abandon our authenticity. There is a constant tug of war between who we are and who we think we should be. In this struggle, we suppress our true selves in favor of what's deemed acceptable or desirable. We worry too much about what people think of us and put too much weight on their opinions. This becomes especially challenging in environments where judgment is prevalent, such as on social media platforms, where people post only the highlights of their lives, creating an illusion of perfection. We compare our behind the scenes with their highlight reels and begin to feel as though we don't measure up. But this is a false reality. The truth is that no one's life is perfect, and everyone has their own struggles and challenges, even if they're not visible to the outside world. Choosing to live for yourself requires self-awareness and courage. It means being willing to listen to your own inner voice rather than constantly seeking the validation of others. It means being comfortable with who you are, flaws and all. Living authentically is about embracing your unique qualities, desires, and dreams without apologizing for them or changing who you are to fit someone else's mold. It involves making decisions that align with your values and passions, even when they might not be understood or approved by others. It's about letting go of the fear of judgment and the need for external validation, knowing that your worth is not defined by others' opinions. One of the greatest obstacles to living authentically is the fear of rejection, the fear of being judged, and the fear of not being good enough. These fears can paralyze us, making us second-guess our decisions and hide our true selves. But in reality, the only way to truly live is to overcome these fears. When we stop worrying about what others think, we open the door to freedom. We are free to follow our own path and make choices based on our own desires and instincts. We begin to trust ourselves and our ability to navigate life, no longer relying on the approval or expectations of others to guide us. It's important to remember that living for yourself doesn't mean being selfish or disregarding the needs of others. It simply means prioritizing your own well-being and happiness, understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. When you live authentically, you're in a better position to help others because you are coming from a place of fulfillment and truth. By focusing on what brings you joy, you can share that energy and positivity with those around you, inspiring others to do the same. People who live authentically are often the most inspiring and uplifting, not because they are perfect, but because they have embraced their true selves and have the courage to live according to their values. Letting go of the need to live for others also brings clarity and peace. The constant pressure to meet external expectations can be overwhelming, and it leads to a life of constant stress and dissatisfaction. When you make the decision to live for yourself, the noise of others' opinions quiets down, and you can hear your own voice more clearly. You are no longer burdened by the weight of others' expectations, and that creates a sense of freedom and tranquility. It allows you to make decisions from a place of inner confidence rather than external pressure. True happiness comes when we stop trying to live up to others' standards and start creating our own. It is about defining success on our own terms, based on what brings us fulfillment and joy. The moment we accept ourselves as we are and stop seeking approval from others is the moment we step into our power. Living for yourself is not about disregarding others, it's about respecting your own journey, your own story, and your own path. When you learn to live authentically, you attract the right people and opportunities into your life, those who appreciate you for who you are and not who you pretend to be. And that is where true fulfillment lies. The notion of time is something we all experience, yet few truly understand its value until it's too late. We often take time for granted, thinking that there's always more of it, that there's always tomorrow, or that we have endless years to accomplish our dreams and build the life we want. But time, unlike money or possessions, cannot be saved, borrowed, or regained once it's gone. The older we get, the more we realize how quickly it passes and how important it is to use it wisely. Time is a non-renewable resource, and learning to manage it is one of the most critical lessons we can learn in life. One of the biggest mistakes we make is assuming that we have all the time in the world to mend relationships or fix things that are important to us. We often tell ourselves that we'll call a friend later, spend time with family next week, or pursue a passion when we have more time. But the truth is, life is unpredictable. People come and go, opportunities disappear, and circumstances change. What we think will always be there may not be. And one day we may find ourselves wishing we had used our time differently. The relationships we take for granted, the things we put off, can slip away from us without warning. The moments we wait to experience may never come if we don't seize them in the present. The realization of how limited time is forces us to be more intentional with how we spend it. It encourages us to prioritize what really matters and let go of things that drain our energy or don't align with our values. We start to understand the importance of investing time in things that bring us joy, fulfillment, and growth. Instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media or binge watching shows, we begin to recognize the value of meaningful conversations, learning new skills, traveling, and spending quality time with loved ones. Time spent in these ways is not wasted. It enriches our lives, strengthens our bonds with others, and helps us grow into the best version of ourselves. As we become more aware of time's fleeting nature, we also learn the importance of saying no to things that don't serve our purpose. We can no longer afford to waste time on things that don't matter. This might mean turning down certain invitations, saying no to obligations that don't align with our goals, or cutting out negative influences that drain our energy. Every time we say yes to something that doesn't matter, we are saying no to something that could contribute to our growth or happiness. Time is a finite resource, and learning to use it wisely is a crucial part of creating a meaningful and fulfilling life. The urgency of time also teaches us to live in the present moment. We often spend too much time dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, missing the beauty of what's happening right in front of us. When we recognize how precious time is, we start to embrace the present moment fully. We appreciate the small things like a quiet walk, a good conversation, or a quiet evening at home. These are the moments that make life meaningful, yet they often get overlooked when we're too focused on what's next or what we've left behind. Living in the present allows us to savor each moment and make the most of the time we have, rather than waiting for the perfect time to act. As we grow older, time becomes even more precious because it's the one thing we can't get back. The regrets we accumulate over time often come from not using it wisely. The opportunity to make a difference in someone's life, to take a leap of faith, or to follow a dream may not always be available. We can't afford to wait until it's too late to take action, because time waits for no one. The key is to embrace the reality of time's fleeting nature and take full advantage of every moment. When we recognize that time is limited, we begin to live with more intention, more purpose, and more awareness of what truly matters. One of the greatest misconceptions in life is that our happiness and fulfillment are dependent on external circumstances, on things like material possessions, status, or the approval of others. For many, the pursuit of these external markers becomes an endless chase, with the belief that happiness is something that will come once we achieve a certain goal or attain a specific level of success. We think that if we just had the perfect job, the perfect partner, the perfect house, or the perfect life, then we would finally feel content and complete. However, the truth is that happiness is an internal state of being, not something that can be found in external achievements or possessions. Learning this lesson often comes too late, but it is one of the most important realizations we can make in our lives. The problem with placing our happiness on external circumstances is that they are temporary and beyond our control. We may achieve a goal only to realize that it didn't bring the fulfillment we expected. We may acquire the things we thought would make us happy only to find that the excitement quickly fades and we're left searching for the next thing. External factors, no matter how wonderful they may seem, are subject to change. People come and go, careers shift, and possessions lose their value over time. If we tie our happiness to these fleeting things, we set ourselves up for disappointment because nothing external can provide lasting satisfaction. True happiness comes from within, and it's rooted in our own mindset, values, and perspective on life. Too often, we get caught in the trap of believing that our happiness is dependent on something or someone else. We wait for a change in our circumstances or for someone to come into our lives and make us feel complete. But the truth is that we are the ones responsible for creating our own happiness. It's easy to fall into the belief that if only we had this or that, everything would be better. But in reality, we can find peace and joy in any situation as long as we shift our mindset. Happiness doesn't come from waiting for life to change. It comes from changing how we see life and how we choose to respond to the challenges we face. One of the most important factors in creating lasting happiness is learning to be content with who we are and where we are in life. So often we're caught up in the pursuit of perfection, striving to be better, do more, or have more, and we forget to appreciate what we already have. We overlook the small moments of joy, the relationships we've built, and the growth we've experienced. True happiness doesn't come from constant striving or comparing ourselves to others. It comes from recognizing our own worth and embracing the present moment. The key to happiness is being able to look at our lives, not through the lens of what's missing, but through the lens of what's already here, what we've already accomplished, what we've already experienced, and the abundance that we already have. It's also essential to realize that happiness is not a destination, but a journey. We often think that once we reach a certain point in life, once we've achieved the goal or gotten everything we want, happiness will automatically follow. But the truth is, happiness is found in the process of living, not in the end result. It's about finding joy in the everyday moments, the challenges we face, and the relationships we cultivate along the way. When we focus on the journey and stop fixating on the destination, we open ourselves up to the beauty of life itself. Happiness is not something we have to wait for. It's something we can create each and every day, regardless of our circumstances. Another key to understanding happiness is realizing that it is not constant, it ebbs and flows, just like life itself. There will be times when we feel on top of the world, and there will be times when we feel down or lost. This is natural, and it's part of the human experience. Happiness doesn't mean constant pleasure or avoiding discomfort. It means accepting the full range of emotions and experiences that life brings. It means being at peace with ourselves even when things aren't perfect. The ability to find happiness in the midst of hardship, to cultivate gratitude even when times are tough, is a powerful skill that can transform our lives. By learning to embrace the ups and downs of life, we can create a deeper sense of fulfillment and resilience. Happiness is also closely tied to the way we view the world and the people around us. When we focus on the positive, when we make the choice to look for beauty, kindness, and love, we create a mindset that invites happiness into our lives. Gratitude plays a significant role in this. When we take the time to appreciate the things we have, the relationships, the experiences, and even the challenges that help us grow, we shift our focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. The more we focus on gratitude, the more we cultivate happiness. It's easy to get caught up in complaints or worries, but when we intentionally practice gratitude, we begin to see the world through a lens of abundance rather than scarcity. Lastly, happiness is not a one-size-fits-all concept. What brings happiness to one person might not bring happiness to another. That's why it's so important to define what happiness looks like for you personally. It's not about living up to someone else's standards or trying to match their idea of success. It's about understanding what brings you peace, fulfillment, and joy, and making those things a priority in your life. Whether it's pursuing a passion, spending time with loved ones, or simply enjoying a quiet moment of reflection, happiness is about aligning your life with what truly matters to you. Learning that happiness comes from within is a lesson that many people learn too late. We spend so much time chasing external goals, thinking that they will bring us happiness, only to find that true contentment lies in how we see ourselves in the world around us. By letting go of the idea that happiness is something to be found in external achievements and focusing on cultivating it within ourselves, we can create a life that is fulfilling, joyful, and truly meaningful. In life, we often learn valuable lessons too late, but the sooner we grasp them, the more fulfilling our journey becomes. The realization that time is fleeting and cannot be reclaimed, that we shouldn't live for others but for ourselves, and that happiness is an internal state rather than something external, are truths that can transform our lives. But the key is to understand that we are in control of how we spend our time, how we define our happiness, and how we choose to live authentically. It's about focusing on what truly matters, our relationships, our passions, and our personal growth, rather than chasing after things that don't bring lasting satisfaction. When we stop living for others and embrace who we are, and when we learn to appreciate each moment, we find the freedom and peace we've been searching for all along. Though these lessons often come too late for many, they are lessons we must learn in order to live with purpose, meaning, and true happiness. Thank you.